Hello guys, how you doing? Welcome to my channel. My name is Sally Miruri, and in this space we're going to have legal conversations on anything to do with the law, be it policy issues, urban governance issues, legal advocacy, and just anything, you name it, we do it. Welcome guys. It feels so strange to talk into a camera. We'll also use this space to just share experience on my life in law school and the experiences in campus, and if possible we'll bring in young lawyers to be able to share with us the experiences in law school and even in practice as well. To start us today, guys, let's get to know just a little bit about who Sally is. I asked a few friends to send me questions of what they would want to know about me as a legal person, and we'll answer 4 of those questions. I have my notes here. So the first question was, what inspired me to be a lawyer? Okay, so I think this will do a little bit of a story time. So what inspired me to be a lawyer? Let's go back to my times in primary school. I think around class 3. I was in a primary school called Mwangaza School, and around class 3 there's a time they were taking profiles of the students, and so one of the things that were in the profile was our ambitions, and we were in line in a queue, and I think I was the second last person in the queue. And so everyone ahead of me had said what they wanted to be, what their ambition was. Of course, there were things like lawyer, nurse, driver, teacher, yeah, the ambitions kids usually have. And so when it was almost my time, I was a little bit worried because all the professions or all the careers that were known to me were already said, and I didn't want to say something that was already said by another student. And so I turned back and asked the kid that was behind me. I don't really remember who it was, whether it was a she or he, but I asked the kid behind me what I should say. And so they told me, she or he told me, maybe you say you want to be a lawyer. And so I picked that up. I didn't know what a lawyer is, so I asked him or her, so what is a lawyer? And then the response was, do you watch Vyoja Mahakamani? Guys, do you know Vyoja Mahakamani? Yeah. So yeah, the person who sits on top of that bench, that is who a lawyer is. So that was his or her description of who a lawyer is. Of course, now we know that was a judge, but well, so that's where the journey of my curiosity of who a lawyer is began. So when it came to my time or my opportunity, my time, I then say that I wanted to be a lawyer. So I carried this throughout primary school, really not knowing what a lawyer is, but I knew that's what I wanted to be when I grew up. So when I got into high school, I manifested this dream, this career path, and those who I was with in high school can attest to it, that in the name section I always wrote my name as Advocate Miruri. And so my mom also helped me manifest this, because she continued to call me Advocate Miruri, even at home. So it is something that I continuously aspired to be. So when I sat my Kenya Certificate of Secondary Education exams and I passed, that was the perfect opportunity for me to get into law school. There's this perception that lawyers are students straight from primary all the way to high school. They're always at the top of their class. I think this is a myth. And I think we will have another video where we get to answer or get to interact with some of the assumptions people have about lawyers. I was kind of an average student, but I passed my exams and my grades enabled me to get into law school. So I applied to go to the University of Nairobi to Parklands campus, and that's where I got into. Yeah, so that's how I became that's what I would say my aspiration to be a lawyer. It wasn't like an individual, it was just my curiosity of who a lawyer was and manifesting it. To the next question, will I ever leave law to consider other things? Definitely yes. So I think having gone to law school, I think I got a good background. It gives good background because law is wide, and it allows you to kind of understand different aspects of the things we deal with in life. So I don't think I would just want to stay in one space and say that law is like what I would want to do and practice in my entire life, but I'm open to opportunities. I'm open to exploring new things. I'm open to, I mean, in life we are dealing with so many challenges, and these challenges come in different aspects of our lives. So in my career path, I don't think I want to limit myself into just practicing law. If an opportunity comes, I'll take it. Definitely I'll take it. And I don't think it's to do with even leaving law or something. I think once you're a lawyer, you have that knowledge of legal stuff. I think in any field that you'd want to go into, that knowledge would still apply, and it will still be important. So yeah. To the third question, and I'm taking these questions as they were sent to me. So if I was the Chief Justice, what would I change? If I was the Chief Justice, what would I change? I don't think, let's rephrase that question to, if I was the Chief Justice, what would I do, or what would I really want to focus on? So right now, if I was the Chief Justice, I think what I would really want to focus on is accessible justice, just an accessible justice system. I think law has been perceived as this thing that, I mean, law is, the way it has been, it's very inaccessible in terms of language. I mean, the language that lawyers use sometimes is very hard to understand, and then again, when it comes to the finances, in the justice system, it is a bit expensive for the common mananchi, for the common person. And so the thing that I really want to change is make the justice system something that is accessible to that person who do not know anything about the law. I mean, justice is something that is in our society, like is needed in our society. It does not necessarily need to be something you go to school for you to be able to enjoy or to be able to get justice. So I think if I was the Chief Justice, and I know our judiciary is right now doing this, they're working on policies and ways in which the people can access justice away from the court system. And I think that's what I would really focus on if I was the Chief Justice now. I mean, there are a lot of other things that I would focus on, but I think that would be my number one priority now. To the next question, and I think this will be the last one, because guys, we will get to do videos where we will know other aspects of my life, but for this video I decided that I'll answer only the 4 questions. So to the last question, which is the most awkward encounter as a lawyer. Most awkward encounter. So I think I've had a couple of awkward encounters. First of all, getting into campus was so much awkward. That's a story for another day. Getting into Kenya School of Law was so awkward. Story for another day. But let's go to the awkward moment when I was a pupil. So in legal education, after you have done your 4 years LLB at the university, the undergrad, you then go to Kenya School of Law for another 2 years. So the first year of Kenya School of Law is more of class and more of theory and practice, more of practice teaching on advocate training programs. And then on the second year, then you get to do some, it's more of like an internship, but you call it pupillage. So you're a pupil, so you're attached to a law firm or any organization that practices law. And so at this time, at this time I was a pupil at a law firm, and so we had gone to court with my pupil master. And so because we had many matters in court that day, my pupil master had gone to a different court and instructed me to go to another court and text her if our matter is called, so that she can just hope by the next courtroom, because it was in the next I mean the one court building. And so I sat there, and matters were being called. And so as our matter was nearing, I then texted her, and she wasn't coming, and I was so afraid that our matter is going to be put aside. So of course, me being me and being very eager to practice law and having all this theory on what is right and what is not right, I knew if our matter is called and we're not there, we were not in attendance, it will be put aside, and the consequences, guys, the consequences of not appearing when your matter is called is another story. So I didn't want this to happen. So when the matter was called, I then stood up, and so the judge asked me, okay, your name? I said Sally. Who are you in this case? And at that moment I knew I am not supposed to address the court yet, because I was just a pupil. So I looked at her, and I knew I couldn't lie, because I could have lied and just said I'm Sally, standing in for my pupil master. But at that moment, I knew I couldn't lie. So I said I am a pupil at Colette, whatever the law firm that I was in, firm. And so she looked at me and immediately asked, but do you know you're not supposed to address the court? And so I felt a little awkward. Of course, everyone now was looking at me, and by the way, Mimi, I thrive when I am put on the spot. And so my bravery, and so I say apologies. I quickly responded and apologized, and asked if I could be forgiven. And so when we were still in between when I was still trying to apologize, and she was so by the way, this judge did not give me an easy time. Yeah, in short, my pupil master came in as I was still trying to apologize to the judge for having addressed the court. Well, I was not qualified to address the court. So yeah, and my pupil master, by the way, she was a very eloquent, very like those lawyers who know their stuff. And so she took the matter, handled it, and the case went on just okay. So, but after court, I was so afraid of what she would tell me, because I had done wrong. Actually, she was she was proud of me, because I managed to buy time. So she got there and she was able to handle the matter. Yeah, so I think that was one of my awkward moments in my legal career. Yeah, that was my legal moment. So guys, that's all for now. Yeah, that's all for now. Let's see where this channel will go, but I want to put it out there that this channel will be just for information purpose only. Anything that will be said in here should not be taken as legal advice. Of course, today was just get to know me, but moving forward, anything that will be said in here should not be taken as legal advice. That's all I have for today. Thank you for watching. See you in my next video. Ciao.